I 39M thought my marriage to my wife was rock solid. We'd been together for 15 years, raising our daughter 17F with love and care. But everything changed when I discovered a shocking betrayal that shook our family to its core. It started innocently enough. I was reviewing our finances, planning for our daughter's upcoming college expenses. We'd been saving diligently for years, setting aside a substantial fund to give her the best possible start in life. But when I logged into our joint account, my heart dropped. The college fund was empty. Panic set in as I frantically searched for an explanation. Had there been a mistake? A computer glitch? I called the bank, my hands shaking as I dialed. The representative confirmed my worst fears. The money had been withdrawn over the past few months, in a series of large transactions. I confronted my wife that evening, hoping for a reasonable explanation. Maybe she'd moved the money to a better investment account, or used it for an emergency I wasn't aware of. But her response left me cold. "I spent it," she said, her voice eerily calm, "and I don't regret it one bit." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could she have blown through our daughter's entire future without a second thought? I demanded answers, my voice rising with each question. She shrugged, seemingly unbothered by my growing anger. "I needed it. You wouldn't understand." As we argued, more details emerged. Designer clothes, expensive spa treatments, lavish girls' trips with her friends. Our daughter's college fund had been frittered away on pure selfishness. I was reeling, trying to process this betrayal. But my wife's lack of remorse was what truly stunned me. She acted as if she was entitled to the money, dismissing our daughter's future as an afterthought. "She can get loans like everyone else," my wife said dismissively. I deserved to treat myself after all these years of being a mom. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This wasn't the woman I married, the loving mother I thought I knew. In that moment, I realized our entire relationship might have been built on lies. Devastated and furious, I retreated to my home office. I needed space to think, to figure out how to break this news to our daughter and salvage her dreams. As I sat at my desk, a notification popped up on my computer. It was a reminder about our cloud storage account, the one where we kept important family documents. Something compelled me to log in and start digging. And that's when I found it. A folder hidden deep in the archives, password protected, and labeled with my wife's initials. My hands trembled as I tried to crack the password. After a few attempts, I was in. And what I saw made my blood run cold. Bank statements, secret credit cards, a hidden email account. As I dug deeper, a sordid picture emerged. My wife hadn't just drained our daughter's college fund. She'd been siphoning money from our accounts for years, funneling it into a lavish double life. There were receipts for luxury hotels, expensive gifts for a man I'd never heard of, even payments to a divorce lawyer. The betrayal ran so much deeper than I could have imagined. I printed out everything, my mind racing. Then, I calmly walked back to the living room, where my wife sat scrolling on her phone, oblivious to the bomb I was about to drop. "You said you had no regrets," I said, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside me. "But I wonder if you'll feel the same way after seeing this." I dropped the stack of papers on the coffee table in front of her. Her eyes widened as she realized what she was looking at. The color drained from her face. "How did you—" she started to say, but I cut her off. "It doesn't matter how I found out. What matters is that I know everything now. The affairs, the secret accounts, all of it." She tried to backpedal, to make excuses, but I wasn't having it. I laid out the facts. She hadn't just stolen our daughter's future. She'd been systematically destroying our family for years. As the reality of the situation sank in, her bravado crumbled. Tears welled up in her eyes, but I felt no sympathy. My thoughts were on our daughter, on how to protect her from the fallout of her mother's selfishness. "I want you out of this house," I said firmly. "You can stay with one of your affair partners, or at a hotel. I don't care. But you're not spending another night under this roof." She begged and pleaded, suddenly remorseful now that she'd been caught. But my mind was made up. I'd already texted my brother, asking if our daughter could stay with him for a few days while I sorted things out. I couldn't bear for her to see her mother like this. As my wife packed a bag, reality began to set in for both of us. Our marriage was over. The life we'd built together was a lie, and our daughter's future hung in the balance. The next few days were a blur of lawyers, bank meetings, and difficult conversations. I filed for divorce, citing my wife's infidelity and financial abuse. I froze our joint accounts and began the process of untangling our finances. Breaking the news to our daughter was the hardest part. She was devastated, angry, and confused. I did my best to shield her from the ugliest details, but she deserved to know the truth about why her college fund was gone. To my surprise, she showed incredible maturity in the face of this crisis. "We'll figure it out, Dad," she said, hugging me tightly. "I can work part-time, apply for scholarships. It's not the end of the world." Her resilience gave me strength. I vowed to do whatever it took to make things right for her. As word of our situation spread, our community rallied around us. Friends and family offered support, both the emotional and financial. My boss was understanding, allowing me flexible hours to deal with the legal proceedings. Even my daughter's school counselor stepped up, helping us navigate scholarship applications and financial aid options. My soon-to-be ex-wife tried to paint herself as the victim, spinning tales of neglect and emotional abuse to anyone who would listen, but the evidence I'd uncovered spoke for itself. As the divorce proceedings moved forward, it became clear that her actions would have serious consequences. The judge was unsympathetic to her claims, especially given the paper trail of her deception. In the end, she was ordered to pay back the money she'd stolen, including the entire college fund. Her assets were seized, her hidden accounts frozen. It wasn't a perfect solution. The damage to our family couldn't be undone with a court order, but it was a start, a chance to rebuild and move forward. As the dust settled, I found myself reflecting on the lessons learned from this painful chapter. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to fully repair, but there's strength in vulnerability, in leaning on others during tough times. My relationship with my daughter grew stronger through this ordeal. We had honest conversations about money, responsibility, and the importance of integrity. She saw firsthand the consequences of selfishness and deceit, but also witnessed the power of perseverance and community support. Slowly but surely, we began to heal. The college fund was replenished, and with careful budgeting and some sacrifices, we got our finances back on track. My daughter threw herself into her studies, more determined than ever to succeed. As for my ex-wife, I heard through the grapevine that she'd moved to another state, cut off from the life of luxury she'd become accustomed to. Part of me felt pity for her, wondering how someone could throw away a loving family for material possessions and fleeting thrills. But mostly, I felt relief that we were free from her toxic influence. Today, life looks very different from what I'd imagined a year ago. I'm a single dad, navigating a new normal with my daughter as she prepares for college. Dating again feels strange and a bit daunting, but I'm in no rush. My focus is on healing, on being the best father I can be, and on rebuilding the trust I'd lost in myself. There are still tough days, moments when the pain of betrayal feels fresh. But there's also a sense of peace, of having weathered a storm and come out stronger on the other side. I've learned the hard way that you can't control the actions of others, even those closest to you. All you can do is stay true to your values, protect the ones you love, and face each day with honesty and courage. As I watch my daughter excitedly plan for her future, I'm filled with hope. We may have lost our savings, but we gained something far more valuable, a deeper appreciation for what truly matters in life. Money comes and goes, but integrity, love, and resilience, those are the real treasures worth protecting.